So, time for a company update. Riff is a purpose-driven coffee company with a mission to explore and celebrate 100% of coffee plants' agricultural value. They are passionate about building a purpose-led company that creates widely desired, good for you and good for the planet beverages. The brand launched their first line of ready-to-drink cold brew coffees in 2018 and quickly garnered many awards and accolades. Co-founder and CEO Paul Evers took the stage at Ben Venture Conference and took home investment. And tonight, he'll take the stage again to tell us about their new product. And I heard he brought some with him, Score. Welcome to the stage, Paul Evers. Come on up.
I have to get oriented here a little bit. Is this where the microphone should be? Okay, all right. So, happy Earth Day, everybody. Ooh, oh, you used a different mic. Did we sanitize this?
It's been sanitized.
You know, Earth Day marks the anniversary of the beginning of the modern environmental movement in 1970. And so Earth Day has become kind of a big deal for Riff over the past couple of years. And it's not so much a celebration for us, but maybe a day of service, a day that brings us an opportunity to help elevate with the population around the world what the situation, the status is with the planet. And that's especially important in being a coffee company, as the coffee industry is no innocent bystander in the problem that we're facing with global warming or climate change. Scientists are now predicting that by the year 2050, as much as 50% of the usable land for coffee growing will no longer be viable due to rising temperatures resulting from climate change. You see, coffee plants grow in a very narrow temperature range of between about 65 and 70 degrees. And with coffee being one of the largest agricultural commodities traded in the world, this is no small deal. And the irony is, really, that coffee is actually contributing to its own demise. So coffee's been around for about 400 years, and now today you can find it on virtually every street corner across the planet. But very few people are aware that coffee is actually a fruit. And the coffee beans are actually a seed surrounded by this luscious, fruity pulp, kind of like an apricot or a peach, and this fruity pulp is called cascara. And it's naturally sweet, naturally caffeinated, and it's loaded with nutritional value. But due to lack of awareness, hence lack of demand, and lack of economic value, the coffee industry has been literally throwing this fruity pulp away for generations. And we've been told by the industry leaders, trade groups, and our peers that basically what's happening with cascara is it's being composted and converted to fertilizer, but we suspected that maybe we weren't hearing the whole truth. So last year we partnered with Oregon State University on a robust environmental study to quantify the magnitude of the waste and the magnitude of its impact on the environment and on coffee growing communities. It turns out that our suspicions were true. That along with that 25 billion pounds of green coffee that's produced annually for export, 100 billion pounds of cascara is harvested. And 70% of it is literally thrown away. Some of it is thrown in the back corners of farmers' plantations, some is dumped into streams, and most of it is sent off to landfill where it's piled into mountains, emitting methane gas equivalent to about 30 billion pounds of carbon dioxide. That's about the same level of emissions as 3 million automobiles in a single year. But what makes this an even graver sin is I mentioned that cascara is naturally sweet, naturally caffeinated, and it's loaded with nutritional value. We would argue that the practice that's been going on is throwing away what is probably, likely, the better half of what the coffee plant has to offer. We love coffee, but we seek, as Shannon explained, to explore and celebrate 100% of what the coffee plant has to offer. So Learning the facts behind the magnitude of the waste and its impact on the environment and coffee growing communities was transformative to Riff. So in the process, we became a fiercely purpose-driven company seeking to become a real force for good. And our solution to coffee's contribution to climate change is identifying a product that has perfect overlap, that perfectly aligns our altruistic mission to reduce coffee's contribution to climate change with an enterprise opportunity. Our first innovation with Cascara was Alter Ego, which was released around the beginning of 2020. And it was doing pretty good in market, but it wasn't doing good enough for us because we have a sense of urgency behind solving this problem. So last fall, we took a deep breath and we engaged in conversations with college students all up and down the West Coast, from as far south as UCLA up to UW. And we learned some really honest and insightful feedback. And so just this past month, what we've done is, as Shannon was alluding to, is that we released the replacement for Alter Ego, which is called Riff Energy Plus Immunity. We got 3 incredible flavors. We've got Booyah Berry, we've got Pick It Up Pomegranate, and we have Get It Guava. Each can has 120 milligrams of caffeine and a wonderful immunity benefit because we've added a daily dose of vitamin C, there's antioxidants, and there's also elderberry juice. And what we've the big difference between this and Alter Ego is there's been an elevated perceived sweetness in the product without adding any more sugar, and there's a better balance between the fruit notes, the fruit driving notes, and the Cascara flavor notes, and it's really super refreshing. Basically, I think what we see it as is it's a purpose-built product based on the direct feedback and conversations that we had with college students. This is a population that has a very high index for caring about the health and wellness of the planet as much as they do their own. So, I guess the final thing that we're most proud about with Riff Energy Plus Immunity is that each can is carbon neutral, which is really surprising for an energy drink. So we brought lots of samples and we'd love to invite you to join us on our journey of reducing coffee's contribution to climate change one can at a time. So here is to Mother Earth.
Thank you, Paul. Okay, don't go anywhere. So I'm going to ask you a couple questions.
Okay.
Number 1, how's your family doing?
Everybody's doing great, but I'm really
You can
thirsty.
crack one up, just
Yeah.
crack it right open. All right, well, actually, I love that you're doing this because I think, energy drinks are notorious for being horrible for you, but you actually created something that's quite disruptive in terms of that industry. Can you speak a little bit more about the health benefits or even just how it compares to what's out on the market? It might be appealing to your audience.
This is a clean energy drink. So the ingredient panel is nothing but real ingredients, nothing that's created in a lab. It's really, we have natural flavors, but they're organic. So it's not chemistry. It's really natural.
It's awesome. I just love it. It is very delicious.
Have you tried this new stuff?
I haven't tried the new one. No.
Well, here you go.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Paul. Appreciate it. Any questions from the audience for Riff? Yes, Kurt Barker in the back. You're an employment attorney? Kurt Barker in the back.
Yeah.
How's the caffeine content compared to competitors or coffee? And coffee, I guess.
Well, there's a lot of factors in determining caffeine levels, but generally a cup of coffee is between 80 and 120 milligrams, so this is 120 milligrams. Which is a 12-ounce can, so that's 10 milligrams per ounce, which is really in line with what you have for the energy drink category. So it's what you would expect, but the big difference between this caffeine and what you might get from those other energy drinks is there's no, I forgot to mention, jitters or crash. It's really, it's kind of like an elevation that goes like that, rather than that.
So maybe a little something more similar to like a matcha or like a tea caffeine.
Yeah, so it's really a nice functional benefit as far as the energy factor.
Awesome.
Hey, Shannon, we have a question in the theater.
Hit me.
Hey, Paul, Don Pommier. Big fan of Riff. Are you looking for additional investors to go the journey with you?
Wow, who sent that? Well, it's in the other theater. Yes, yes. Thank you for asking. We are getting close to closing our Series Seed round. So it's a scarce opportunity is what I'm getting at.
Amazing. Any other questions from the audience tonight? Aaron, any questions from you? What do you need? Great question.
What do you mean, what do we need?
What do you need? What do you need?
We need evangelists. We want people to help tell our story and be passionate about it. One of the things that I think we're really excited about is this is a company that was born in Bend. We're a Bend company, and we also have our production facility up in Redmond, so we represent both communities. And we want to make these communities proud by revolutionizing, being a real disruptor in the coffee category. Nobody is really taking Cascara and translating it into a beverage that we believe has a promise to scale that the Riff Energy Plus does. Yes?
I was going to ask you, could you describe carbon neutral?
Can you describe carbon neutral? Can you describe carbon neutral in this context?
In this, how did we arrive at carbon neutral?
What does that mean?
Or what do we mean by that? Yes, so the carbon footprint is offset by, we're reducing methane emissions at source. And the other thing that we're doing, actually, we're inherently carbon neutral, so it's a neutral carbon footprint. But we're slightly a little bit low, and we're making up for that by partnering with a nonprofit out of Portland called Grow Ahead that works directly with coffee farming communities to plant shade trees for plantations, which is great. So it's coffee regional reforestation projects. And the only thing we have to do is plant like 3 trees for every pallet produced. That's how close we are.
Wow.
I don't know if that totally answers your question, but.
Is that satisfying? Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
One
It's a
more
great question. Yes,
question in the
one more
theater.
question. Okay. What do you got, Brian?
Hi, Paul. I'm fascinated by the innovation of your products. So I have a question. My name's Melissa with Miss Bee Woman. How do you convert the regular coffee and tea drinker in the morning that loves their hot beverage? Can you heat this up? And if you can, does it keep all the nutrients?
That's great. So this drink actually tastes nothing like coffee. So if you're a coffee lover, then I'd love to tell you more about our cold-brewed coffee line. We have 3 different bottled cold-brewed coffees that you can find in Newport Market, Market of Choice, and Safeway and Albertsons, actually. Next month, Fred Meyer. So this is the complementary arm to the cold-brewed coffee arm. But as far as if you bought our cold brew and you're really, I think, tied to the ritual of hot coffee in the morning, as I am, you can heat it up, but you want to be careful. You don't want to nuke it in the microwave because that tends to alter the flavor compounds within coffee. So what we recommend is you heat it up like you would a baby bottle. I mean, that's the kind of level you want to care about it. You know, in a pan of hot water. That's gentle. We want our cold brew coffee is brewed very gently. That's what avoids the acidity and bitterness of coffee. But this tastes nothing like coffee. I should have pointed that out. It tastes like a refreshing.
Like tea, and like it's kind of fruity.
And this is less tea-like than Alter Ego.
It's light. It's slightly carbonated.
It is lightly carbonated.
It tastes like a
sparkling.
smile.
It tastes.
Aaron.
It's a different kind of smile than what you get from coffee.
Aaron.
Yeah.
2 questions.
Our virtual audience. First one is curious, how do they increase perceived sweetness without synthetic sugars?
How did they Okay, this is great. How did they increase perceived sweetness without adding sugars, and what is the price point?
Let me answer the easy question first. $2.99 suggested retail, but that's going to vary depending on the retailer. But it is $2.99 on letsrip.com. You can buy all of the Riff Energy Plus immunity that you want off of letsrip.com. So the way that we achieved better balance between Cascara and the fruit driving notes like guava and berry, so it's blackberry and elderberry and then pomegranate with some hibiscus, is we went to organic natural flavors that don't have any sugar content to heighten the fruit flavors. And then there's inherent sugars in the cascara. We also have fruit juice there. So the perceived sweetness and fruitiness level was just kind of better balanced between cascara, juice, fruit juice concentrate, and the natural flavors.
Wonderful
Does that make
explanation.
sense?
Yeah, that makes
I hope
great
that
sense.
answered that question. I'm not the food scientist, but that's what he told me.
Paul, you know I love I love your story. I've been following along the whole time, and I'm just so excited to see what happens next. I want to encourage everyone to go to letsriff.com and watch the film that you made that talks about your process that got you here. And I think it's incredibly inspiring, and so I hope everyone will do that. And then also, how do we get the samples? Where are they?
Well, they're out and about. I mean, this table has 4 on there. There's an
Cooler in
ice
the back
chest
of
over
the
there.
room.
Don
All
is
right.
pointing to an ice chest over there. Those are cold, ready to drink. If you're averse to drinking caffeine in the evening, then take it home and enjoy it tomorrow. A lot of people see it as a great mid-afternoon pick-me-up. Like if you
Perfect.
really want to bring it home the last 3 hours of the afternoon, this will do the job. It does it for me every day.
Just get it, guava.
Get it. It's kind of like get it done, guava.
Yeah,
but
I
you know
get
what
it.
mean? Yeah, you get it.
Thanks, Paul.
All right,
Thank you so much.
Thank you.